Our world is full of lust, and we all contribute to it in some way, shape, or form. It's not that you want to, but it's damn near like you have to. You don't even have to want to do anything. It's all around you. It's on TV. It's on social media. It's on your phone. It's on your laptop. It's in a book. It's everywhere. And that's not on accident. There's a purpose behind the things that you see. There's an agenda behind the things that you see. And I'm not here to tell you how lustful you are or just tell you about the basic things of lust. I want you to understand the thought process and the mindset that saved me from these things. I'm a human. I still lust. I still have lustful thoughts. But I think I'm doing all right for myself. And lust has always been here and it'll always be here. But the least you can do is learn how to navigate through it and control your lust and overcome these desires and move in a way where it won't ruin your life. But first and foremost, you got to understand, straight from the first talking point, availability. These lustful things are everywhere. And everything that you see, the availability for these lustful things is just unrivaled. Back in the day, you had to go somewhere and, you had to be a certain age to do something. You had to go to a certain place to see these lustful things. It's not like that anymore. Lust is literally everywhere. At any age, you can run into these traps. When I found, my first pornography tape, I was like 7. And many kids are seeing this. Now they don't even have to find the tape and put it in. They seeing it on social media. They seeing it in the TV show. They seeing it in the movies. I seen a commercial earlier that disturbed me. They was promoting a phone, and there was some kids outside of a bedroom, and they was eavesdropping on their parents, and it sounded like their parents were having a sexual encounter, but they were looking at a phone. And the lady was like, "Oh, how bad do you want to touch it?" And the man was like, "Oh, I want to touch it real bad, but I'm not going to beg for it." And she was like, "Well, just touch it right here." And the phone started vibrating, and they start moaning and talking about how they should do this some other time. And yeah, I understand that could be funny, right? It was comedy. That's what they intended, sure. That's intended to get those vulnerable minds. Because a young, curious person can see that and wonder, what are they doing? Like, something wasn't right about that. Because I felt like that as a child. And somebody who's been exposed to something like that, that will trigger them, that will set them off into going there. And see, the thing about lust is lust doesn't need a vehicle to come and get you. Anxiety, anger, all those things don't either, but they kind of do. Somebody has to piss you off. Something has to happen for you to get pissed off. Something usually has to happen for you to get anxious. And something can attack you while nothing is going on and make you feel anxious, but it's still usually something deep rooted, something that made you scared before, that thought of it is coming to creep and get you. But lust can get you anywhere. Lust can come get you in a church. Lust can come get you in a club. Lust can come get you while you're laying down. The first thing you think about when you wake up, lust can come get you anywhere. And lust also opens you up to many other things like lying and stealing and cheating and indulging in all the things that are bad for you. That's why lust is so dangerous. But you got to understand, if you can overcome lust, if you can overcome your sexual desires, and if you can overcome dehumanizing people for simple pleasure, you will be an unstoppable being. That is like the final boss of life, lust. Because you got to think about it. Our basic purpose in life is to reproduce. The basic purpose of a living organism is to reproduce. So you got all these juices flowing within your existence that drive you to reproduce. You see somebody that you can reproduce with and you want to. That is your basic evolutionary right, evolutionary thought. But they know that. And they're using your evolutionary desires and basic primal instincts. And they playing on that. They using that to manipulate you. They orchestrating all of this. It's not bad that you have the urge to do this and the urge to do that. You're a human. You're an animal. Just the way things is. But the way we going about things, the way we think about things, it gets a little bit different. But like I said, if you can overcome that, you will be powerful. And I can attest to that. I overcame my sexual desires. I conquered my porn addiction. I've conquered myself. And it's made my life better. It made me feel like I was glowing and floating, right? But that weakness can cause you to be lured into traps that you don't want to be in. Just for a basic example, do you know how many people get set up with prostitutes? paid off women, right? They have these bad, connections with people, or they're in a bad standing with a local gang or somebody who can pull some strings. And what they do, they call up a little lady, bring her to the club, send her at him, right? And she touches all on him, telling him, oh, I want to go back home to your place. And she lures him out. They go to his house. He's laying there thinking he's about to have the greatest night of his life. And then he feel a piece of metal on the back of his head. Now he got a pistol to the back of his head because he let lust lure him into a situation that he didn't want to be in. And now he's thinking, damn, here I am. I'm about to get robbed. I'm about to die because I was thinking with, my other half, my other third, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. And that's just one example about how lust can lure you into places you don't want to be in. A lot of people have got horny as hell, and they out here wanting to touch people that they wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because you cannot control your desires. How many times you done sat there telling yourself, I'm not gonna do this, and I'm not gonna be shameful in the eyes of God. I'm gonna stop masturbating. I'm gonna stop doing all of this, but you get lured back into that thing. Why? Because you cannot overcome your lust. It's that weakness that it brings out about you. You have to understand that it's a portal. I just told you, it is a portal. It opens you up to so many things, and you don't want to fall into that portal. You just don't. But the thing is, a lot of us try to fight it. And it's not something that you can fight. You really can't. It's literally against your nature to fight it. You don't want to fight it. You want to run from it. One of the things about being intelligent is knowing when to speak and knowing when not to speak. Knowing when to fight, knowing when not to fight. This is not something that you fight, because the more you fight something like this, the more it kills you. The more it can hurt you, the more it can hurt other people. You have to accept it and you have to run from it. And I'll give you an example. It's like, it's like the guns in the movies. When a person is about to do something bad, whether it's a robbery or maybe they want to commit suicide or something. And somebody's like, look, just give me the gun, right? I know you're hurt. I know you're in pain. Just give me the gun. Now, I understand this is a movie, but these things happen in real life. Things are cool when the person with the gun surrenders the gun, cries, fall into their arms, whatever. But when the person resists and they got the gun on you, tell them, give me the gun. And they got the gun pointed at you, and they shaking and they fighting it and they don't want to give it up. And then you go to get it and they fight it and that gun goes off. May shoot you. It may shoot the person that was trying to help you. It may shoot the person that was trying to save, other people. Somebody's going to get hurt because you're fighting it. It's like holding on to a rope that's tied around your hand and somebody's pulling it. The longer you hold on to it, the more it squeezes and rips your hand. When you let go, that's when the burden is gone. You gotta run from it. This is not a battle that you want to fight, because it's just going to get stronger. And the problem is, we sit there and tell ourselves, oh, I'm going to be porn free and I'm going to stop watching porn. We tell ourselves these things every day. I'm going to stop consuming this content. I don't want to be lustful and I want to do this and I want to do right by God. But what you're doing is planting these things in your head. And I'm sure you're familiar. If you tried to stop your porn addiction, you counted the days. I'm 14 days porn free. Stop counting. What are you counting for? You're just manifesting those things back into your head. You're planting those things in your head. You don't think so? Think of an elephant. Think of a giraffe. Think of a donut. Now think of an elephant again. Now I want you not to think of an elephant. Why are you still thinking of an elephant? I said don't think of an elephant. Why are you still thinking of an elephant? Because I've planted elephant in your head. You have to run away from it. You have to. Now, in order for you to truly get away from these things, it's going to take some true work. But you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself. You got to understand what triggers me. What makes me more prone to doing X, Y, and Z. Never in my life have I thought about going, to go get a prostitute or going to do X, Y, and Z. Certain things don't trigger me. Certain things turn me off. Certain things are just not me. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said one of those beautiful ladies on Instagram or TikTok or some social media website never made me feel like doing something or never enticed me to go doing something that I wasn't proud of. I know my triggers. I've watched pornography before, and I've had events in real life that were manipulated by my worm mind because I thought just because the teacher asked me something that something was about to play out. I knew my triggers. I learned myself, and I didn't run from who I was. So it helped me navigate through my own world, through my own journey of overcoming this thing. But the thing is, a lot of people are not willing to look in the mirror and see what triggers them. They're not willing to see what they're more likely to be enticed by. But you got to do that. Maybe magazines is your thing. Maybe it's the movies. Maybe it is social media. My advice would be to get the hell off of all of this, because all of it is bad. That's a deep conversation and a very uncomfortable situation that a lot of people are not willing to have. A lot of people are not willing to go on that journey and find themselves because it's uncomfortable. You have to strip yourself down. You have to be alone. You have to sit out there in the wind. You have to sit out there in the cold. And you have to figure out what's really important to you. And it's going to be lonely. It's going to suck. But you got to do it. This is just something that you have to overcome. And it's a privilege, to go through this. It may not seem like it, but it is, because when you learn how to navigate through certain waters, it makes you a better navigator. It makes you a better explorer. It makes you better at this journey called life. Because when you don't know how to face adversity, when you don't know how to go through things, you're more likely to get crushed when you actually do. You're more likely to fall into the traps that people set when you don't know how to go through things. But moving back to these points, you gotta rethink a lot of things, and you gotta renovate your mind. See, another thing that I forgot to mention about how you plant things in your mind and how you want to change the way you think. Instead of you saying to yourself, I want to be less lustful, I want to stop my porn addiction, I want to get away from this, I want to get away from that, just forget it. Write it down, burn it, forget it. Change your focus to, I want to be this. I want to do this. Instead of me saying, I'm not going to be a drug addict anymore. I'm not going to be a bum. I'm not going to be a jobless person. My focus transforms to, I'm going to have a job. I have a job, right? I have the life that I want. I have everything that I want. I am happy. Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Just take all the energy molecules that you're connecting to that, disconnect them. Sever the bond, cut the wire, whatever you have to do, cut that bond. You're focusing on everything over here, because if you're steady looking over your shoulder, thinking about what you don't want, your focus is away from here. Why the hell do you think the windshield in your car is so damn big compared to the rear glass? Because you're going forward. This is what we focused on, not this. So completely change your focus. I don't ever want to see another comment talking about I don't want to, fall into the trap of porn. No, just tell me what you want and what you're going to do. Focus on that. For the religious people, focus on God. Focus on pleasing God. Focus on being a person for God. All these things are all the same, whether you believe it or not. The thing is, you have to believe in something outside of what you are. But truly, that is still you. Whether that's some goal you have, whether that's God, it doesn't matter. It's all the same energy. A lot of people just not ready to have that conversation. It's energy, energy, and energy. But you gotta believe in something outside of what's going on right here so that you can have something to focus on. That's what it means to renovate your mind. Things are gonna creep into your mind. Things are gonna entice you to fall backwards, and you're gonna battle with temptation. You're gonna think, well, it's just one more time. We've always thought about that. It's just one more time, or it's nothing, or it's not important. No, it is. And you know it is. But you got to be willing to go through that battle. Now, upon you renovating your mind, reshaping your thoughts, reshaping your focus, people think, well, I've had all these bad habits. How do I get rid of them? You replace them. You don't try to take this and do this. I mean, there's all types of processes. But bottom line, you got to replace your bad habits. And some people are going to say, well, I don't have any good habits. Make some. Find some. Start going to the gym. Exercise, working out is literally a cheat code, bro. It's literally a cheat code. It helps you mentally, physically, spiritually. It's just one of those cheat codes. It exerts you, makes you tired. So that time that you spend, you're up at 3 a.m., when you go work out and you do things, You put in work and you exert energy, especially into these positive things, you don't have the energy to creep up, at 3 a.m. and make these bad decisions. You don't have the energy to entertain certain things. You start to focus on your goals and you start to focus on the results you get, and you start to fall in love with the processes that happen in life instead of the end result. When you work out, when you exercise, when you learn to fall in love with it, you start to connect with your body, you start to connect with your mind, you start to know yourself a little better. And it's good for you. Exercise. If you don't have a good habit, do that one. Stay consistent at it. Fall in love with it. You can draw, you can paint. There's anything that you can do that's better than what you're doing if you're falling into these traps. So I don't want to hear the excuses. There's habits, there's hobbies, there's all types of things to do. Maybe 50 push-ups when you wake up. Maybe when you have these thoughts and desires, you do 50 push-ups. You go for a run, you go for a walk. But don't fight it. When these thoughts creep into your mind, you say, I accept that I have these thoughts, but I won't be controlled by it. I give these thoughts to the abyss, and that's it. Run from it. Don't fight it. Put your phone down if you have to. Turn your phone off. But you are in control. That's something that you have to understand. You are in control. You can reshape your life the way you want it to be. You just have to have the courage, and you just have to stay consistent. And things are going to happen on this journey that you're not going to be proud of, but don't beat yourself up. You're human. That's not an excuse, it's an explanation. Things are going to happen. You're going to think of things. It's just the way it is. But as long as your heart is in the right places and you leading to a better place every day, and you're making progress in some way, shape, or form every day, you're going to be all right. Now, understand that your environment plays a big role in these things. Your mind and your body. If you're not in a place that's good for you, no matter what journey you're on, you're not going to make much progress. Now, perspective is key, right? You can be in a place that you don't want to be in, and it can motivate you to get out of it, right? But still, think about the process. You're in a situation that you don't want to be in. You're in an environment that you don't want to be in, and that motivates you to get out of it. That is the best perspective you can have in a bad situation. But even your mind is telling you, this is motivation to get out. I'm somewhere I don't want to be. This is motivation to get out. It's not telling you to stay and deal with it. It's telling you to get out, because some battles we're not supposed to fight. If we fight them only for so long to learn lessons and do this and do that, but some things are not worth fighting for because they will eventually overcome you. These is one of those battles, right? So you can't be hanging out at the strip club. You can't be going to the bar and looking at half-naked people and doing X, Y, and Z if you want to be on this journey for real. I'm not telling you to lock yourself in a box and cover your eyes and, freeze yourself. I'm not telling you to do that. But I'm telling you, if you're in an environment that's influencing you to go back down a path that you are trying to save yourself from or be saved from, you're not going to have much progress. Imagine if you were an addict, a recovering addict, and you went to sleep in the trap house, and there's cocaine here, and there's weed here, and heroin here, and there's everything that you could ever want just sitting all around you. You might bump into it. Somebody may offer it from you. You might turn it down. But I guarantee by the end of the week, you're going to fall into it. Oh, it's just a little bit. Oh, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Final words. You got to change your environment. You got to change the things that you see. Because the things that you see, the things that you're around, develop and manifest into thoughts. And what do we know about thoughts? We get lost in them. A lot of us cannot separate ourselves from our thoughts. We think we are our thoughts. We're not. We observe our thoughts. But when you see things and they influence thoughts and you observe them, they influence decisions. Lustful eyes lead to a lustful mind. And a lustful mind leads to lustful actions and decisions. So you got to change your environment. If you're around people that's influencing you to be lustful, you got to step away. I'm not telling you to not be friends with these people forever, but you're on a journey. Sometimes you're gonna have to be alone. Sometimes you're gonna have to sit out in the rain and sit in a cave with a fire, and nobody's gonna be there with you, because it's for your better purpose, your better intention. It's for you to be better, for you to grow and develop. You gotta change your environment. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely, just like everything we've talked about. This growth, this journey, all these things is lonely, but it's for your better judgment. And understand something. When you're battling these urges, when you're battling these desires, when you're battling the thought of having to change your environment and drop these friends, think about this. Some of the greatest things in life, most of the greatest things in life, you don't really see them. You may, but you feel them, right? And I'll explain. A warm hug, somebody caring about you, somebody rubbing your scalp, somebody just being real, somebody just showing you love. You just feeling love. You listening to music. You start to feel that music. Good music is music you feel. You don't just hear it, you feel it. We hear trash every day. We see trash every day. But you feel what's real. Think about this. You've been in a situation, somebody has treated you terribly. They made you feel bad. But they tell you they love you. They tell you that they care about you, but you don't feel it. It makes you sick. It makes you cry. It makes you upset because you don't feel it. But then you also get hurt in situations when somebody treats you terribly, or they're going through some sort of trauma and they let it affect your relationship, but you can feel the love that they have for you. You can feel that compassion that they may have for you. You can feel it because it's real, right? You can feel it. You can feel when you walk into a room and people hate you. You can feel when you walk into a room and people like you. They don't even have to say a word. You can feel when you're walking down the alleyway and somebody's in there with malicious intent. You can feel it when you're going somewhere and you feel safe. Feel is big. We see things, we hear things, we smell things, but we feel the most. We feel the most. We forget about what people said. We forget lyrics to songs. We forget what things smell like, but we never forget what it feels like. You never do, because it's a direct link to your soul. So if you're battling with these desires, understand that you're in love with things that you see. You're in love with things that you smell and you hear. You don't feel these things. You don't feel for that prostitute. You're not feeling for some cheap desire. These are things that are influenced by what you're seeing. It can lead to feeling. That's why it's so dangerous. But it starts here. The real things in life, you're usually going to feel them first. Then you start to look at them. Then you start to smell them and see them and all this. So remember that order. Feel first. If you don't feel it first, it's probably not good for you. If it's attracted by the eyes, if it's attracted by the flesh, it's probably not good for you. Now that also leads me to the last and final point that I'm gonna make, because I don't want to take up too much of y'all time. I don't want to yap too much. But the reason why lust is so prominent in this world is from the lack of love, the lack of compassion. And many people think that lust is love and love is lust, and so whatever. A lot of it gets confused. A lot of people are in relationships because of lust. They don't want to be alone, and they want somebody to just snuggle up on, and they just want to have a little pleasure. To each is their own. I'm not knocking nobody. You got a life, you live it the way you want to. I'm gonna live mine the way I want to. But lust is dangerous, because when those lustful desires no longer become a priority, that love that y'all have, it's gone. When you become too much to put up with, and those lustful desires aren't being met, it's over. It's just the way it is. The reason why lust is so prominent is because love is not here. You don't care about these people. These people don't care about you. I've seen people, and I'm sure y'all seen it too, people get on social media, they're on OnlyFans, they're on whatever, and they're promoting their content, and they got people who are paying thousands, millions of dollars to these people, and they don't care about them. The creator or the fans, they don't care about them. They just want some sort of pleasure. They want some sort of money. There's no love in between. But imagine if somebody you cared about, you seen them selling their body all over the internet. Imagine if somebody you cared about was buying all these types of content and all these things on the internet and consuming these things. How would that make you feel? It probably wouldn't make you feel too well. Imagine if it was your mother, your sister, your aunt, your grandmother, somebody that you cared about out here creating things to influence people to be lustful. Or imagine it was those people that you cared about that are being trapped in these systems that are lustful. It would probably not make you feel good, but that's because you care. You have some sort of love. You have some sort of compassion. You're not dehumanizing anybody. The thing is, lust dehumanizes people. You got people who go to the bar just to get a quick little bang. They go to a party just to get a quick little bang. They're looking at girls like a piece of meat. You got girls who look at dudes like a piece of meat. They don't care about them. They just want to get their rocks on. That's just the way it is. Lust. But when you care about people, you want them to be served. There's a lot of people out here that have treated women like dogs, but when they have a daughter, oh, you better not touch my daughter, and my daughter better not do this, and my daughter better not do that. Where was that love and compassion when you was out here doing that to people? The same thing goes for ladies. Y'all be tricking these dudes, take their money, entice them to do things. You get what you want, and then it's gone. But the moment you have a son, oh, no, nobody better break my son's heart. Nobody better hurt my brother or my cousin. Where is that love and compassion for everybody else? I'm not telling you have to go 1000% for everybody else. But when you start to look at people like humans and other creations and not just a piece of meat, not just a platform for you to get your rocks off, not just somebody for you to get some pleasure from, things start to get a little bit different. You start to have a little compassion for people. You start to understand people. You start to feel bad for people. You start to care a little bit. Your pleasures don't seem so strong anymore because you start to see people for people. People get hurt. People feel things. People are alive, just like you. Makes things a little bit different. So when you're starting to lust over people and you're controlled by these simple desires and you're thinking about all these negative thoughts and negative actions or being influenced by these thoughts, think that is somebody's daughter. That is somebody's son. That is somebody's baby. Somebody cares about that person. Maybe I should care about that person. Maybe that person is going through something and it's not good for me to use this person for X, Y, and Z. I shouldn't be exploiting this person. I shouldn't be profiting off this person's insecurities. I shouldn't be getting pleasure from this person's pain. Have some love, have some compassion, put some thought behind what you do. As many times as we, consume porn, as many times as I consume porn, before I knew, I didn't think about what those girls were going through, how much they were being exploited and how bad they were being treated. The same with the dudes. They getting drugged up and exploited and worked like horses. Never thought about all the torture that people went through. I just wanted to get my rocks off. I just wanted to get some pleasure going. You got people who call up girls in the middle of the night. They don't care a damn about them damn girls. But they want to get their rocks off, so they tell them a bunch of sweet nothings to get what they want and then disappear. Have some damn compassion. Would you want your daughter to be treated like that? Would you want your mother to be treated like that? I'm not sitting here telling you that I treat every person in the world the greatest. I don't. Sometimes I don't have the energy for it. Sometimes I just don't agree with certain people. Sometimes I just don't align with certain people. But it'll be rare for you to find somebody out there in the world that said I didn't respect them. I didn't show them respect. I may not be attracted to you. I may not give you the time of the day. I may not sit there and have a 60-minute conversation with you. But not many people in this world can say I've disrespected them. Or if I did, they can't say that I didn't try to make it right. I didn't apologize. I didn't explain what was going on in my mind and make things right. You gotta respect people, man. You gotta have love. You gotta have some type of compassion. And those things, that light will shine on your heart too. It will save you from this battle. So you just let that sit on your soul for the rest of the day, for the rest of the year. You're lustful. You're controlled by lust. You're creating lust. You're enticing people or you're being enticed. Have some respect for yourself. Have some respect for other people. Understand that maybe they weren't loved in their life. And maybe this is the only way they can find validation. Maybe you showing them love can help them a little bit. You just never know what can happen. The power of love is insane. The world will never be at peace until the power of love overcomes. the love for power. Just the way it is. But hey, I'm done yapping. I have nothing more to say that you haven't heard. Don't feel like burning your ear off anymore. And I just hope I can help somebody. So let's overcome this battle. Let's overcome this pandemic, this epidemic, this damn plague. Let's just be better. Let's have some love. Let's show some compassion. So, love y'all. Y'all take care. And I'm out of here.